When most people glance at a penny, they see nothing more than 1 cent, the smallest denomination in American currency, often discarded or forgotten in cup holders and couch cushions. But for those of us who understand numismatics, these copper discs tell a different story. Sometimes, that story is worth thousands, even hundreds of thousands, of dollars. Today, we're exploring 3 seemingly ordinary pennies that command extraordinary prices: the 1978 Lincoln penny with a remarkable double die error, the elegantly transitional 1962 penny with its perfect bronze composition, and the modern 2001 penny with a mistake so valuable it could fund your child's college education. Picture this: you're sorting through a jar of pennies, mindlessly separating them by decades, when suddenly something catches your eye about one particular 1978 penny. The lettering looks off. Almost like someone stamped it twice, but slightly misaligned. That feeling in your stomach? It might be the realization that you've just discovered one of the most significant double die errors in modern American coinage. The 1978 Lincoln cent double die obverse isn't just rare, it's legendary among serious collectors. Unlike many coin errors that result from circulation damage or post-mint alterations, double die errors happen during the actual minting process. When the hub impresses the design onto a working die, if there's even the slightest movement or misalignment between impressions, it creates a doubled image on every single coin struck from that die. What makes the 1978 double die so special is both its prominence and its scarcity. The doubling is most visible in the word Liberty and the date, 1978, where you can clearly see a second impression slightly offset from the first. It's as if Lincoln himself has an echo. Numismatists estimate that only about 250,000 of these error pennies entered circulation, a tiny fraction of the 5.56 billion pennies minted that year at the Philadelphia Mint. The story of how these errors made it into circulation is fascinating. Quality control at the U.S. Mint typically catches major die errors before production, but occasionally, especially during periods of high demand or when running multiple shifts, errors slip through. In 1978, Mint workers actually discovered the double die during production, but by then, thousands of these pennies had already been mixed with normal strikes and loaded into bags for distribution to banks. The decision was made: let them go. Little did they know they were releasing small copper fortunes into the wild. For collectors, the hunt for a 1978 double die has become something of a holy grail quest. Unlike the famous 1955 double die cent, which commands 6 figures in top condition, the 1978 variant flies under the radar just enough to potentially still be found in circulation, though your chances diminish with each passing year. In uncirculated condition, particularly MS 65 or higher on the Sheldon scale, these coins can fetch between $3,000 to $7,000. Even in average circulated condition, the kind you might actually find in pocket change, they're worth $200 to $500. Compare that to the face value of 1 cent, and you're looking at a return that would make Wall Street jealous. Authentication is crucial with double die errors, as many novice collectors mistake machine doubling or damage for true double dies. True doubling shows separation in the raised elements of the design, not the fields, and appears as a distinct secondary image rather than a smudged or stretched look. Under magnification, the doubling on genuine 1978 double die cents has a precise, defined edge, evidence of 2 distinct impressions from the hub. Condition plays a dramatic role in valuation here. A heavily circulated example with visible doubling might bring a few $100s, while a pristine red specimen with full luster preserved since the day it left the mint could command over $10,000 at auction. The most valuable 1978 double die penny ever sold reached $26,000 at a heritage auction in 2018. The coin was graded MS 67 red, essentially perfect with original mint luster. What's particularly interesting about the 1978 double die is how it represents a key transitional period in American coinage. In 1982, the mint would change the composition of the penny from 95% copper to 97.5% zinc with a thin copper coating, dramatically altering both the weight and intrinsic metal value of the coin. The 1978 penny, with its solid copper composition, represents one of the last generations of real copper cents, giving it both numismatic and metallic value. For those hunting this elusive error, your best strategy is to focus on original bank-wrapped rolls from 1978. While most have been searched by now, occasionally estates or forgotten collections come to market with unopened rolls. Another approach is to examine 1978 pennies that appear slightly redder or more lustrous than their counterparts, as the double die pennies sometimes have a slightly different appearance due to the doubled strike. The legacy of the 1978 double die continues to grow with each passing year. As more pennies are melted for their copper value, technically illegal but practically unstoppable, and as more collectors secure examples in permanent collections, the available supply continues to dwindle. Unlike many modern coins produced explicitly for collectors, the 1978 double die is a genuine numismatic accident, a perfect imperfection that transforms an ordinary penny into a coveted treasure. Next time you receive change, take a moment to examine those pennies. Look for that telltale shadow in the lettering or date. The coin that most people wouldn't bend down to pick up off the sidewalk might just be worth thousands of dollars. The 1978 double die penny isn't just a valuable coin, it's a reminder that sometimes, the most extraordinary treasures hide in the most ordinary places. As we transition from the dramatic double die errors of the 1978 penny, let's journey back 16 years to 1962, a year when John F. Kennedy was in the White House. The Cuban Missile Crisis brought the world to the brink, and the United States Mint was producing what many numismatists now consider to be some of the most beautifully struck Lincoln cents ever made. The 1962 Lincoln cent doesn't have a dramatic error like our 1978 friend. In fact, its value comes from precisely the opposite, absolute perfection. These coins represent what many consider the golden era of American minting technology, when the perfect combination of bronze composition, strike pressure, and die preparation came together to create pennies with exceptional detail and luster. What makes the 1962 penny so special begins with its composition, 95% copper and 5% zinc and tin. This classic bronze alloy gives the coin a warm, distinctive reddish-orange color when freshly minted. Unlike today's zinc-based cents with their thin copper coating that wears through to reveal an ugly gray interior, these solid bronze beauties age gracefully, developing a rich patina collectors call chocolate brown or maintaining their original, red, color when properly preserved. The Philadelphia Mint struck nearly 600 million of these pennies in 1962, while the Denver Mint added another 700 million marked with the small D mint mark below the date. At first glance, this sounds like a lot of coins, and it was. But here's where the story gets interesting. Despite their huge mintage, truly pristine examples have become surprisingly scarce. Why? Because nobody was saving them. In 1962, coin collecting hadn't yet exploded into the mainstream hobby it would become later in the decade. The concept of setting aside rolls of uncirculated coins as investments was still uncommon. Most 1962 pennies went straight into circulation, where they were subjected to decades of handling, exposure to the elements, and chemical reactions with skin oils and environmental contaminants. The irony is delicious. Hundreds of millions were made, yet finding one in gem condition today is like finding a needle in a haystack. A pristine, untouched 1962 penny with full original mint luster, no contact marks, and complete strike detail is a trophy coin for serious Lincoln cent collectors. In terms of market value, condition is absolutely everything with the 1962 cent. A circulated example might be worth just its copper content, about 2 cents at current metal prices. But the value curve rises exponentially with condition. In MS-65, gem uncirculated, a 1962 penny commands $20 to $30. At MS-66, the price jumps to $50 to $75. But it's at the MS-67 grade where things get really interesting. These specimens bring $400 to $600. And the truly exceptional examples graded MS 67 Plus or MS 68 have sold for over $3,000 at auction. The record price for a 1962 Lincoln cent? A breathtaking $9,000 for a Philadelphia minted penny graded MS 67 Plus red with exceptional eye appeal and essentially perfect surfaces. Think about that, $9,000 for a coin with a face value of 1 cent. That's a return of 900,000 times its original value. What makes these high-grade specimens so valuable is the combination of strike quality, surface preservation, and original color. Under magnification, the best 1962 pennies reveal Lincoln's beard with individual strands visible, wheat ears with razor-sharp definition, and field areas that are virtually mirror-like in their smoothness. The mint luster seems to dance across the surface as you rotate the coin under light, a phenomenon collectors call cartwheel luster. There's a fascinating technical reason behind the exceptional quality of 1962 cents. The U.S. Mint had refined its die preparation process to a science by this point. Dies were carefully polished and treated before striking, creating coins with exceptional surface quality. The striking pressure was calibrated perfectly, forcing metal into every crevice of the die and creating fully realized design elements. It was a perfect moment in minting technology before mass production demands began to compromise quality later in the decade. The 1962 penny also has historical significance as one of the last generations of Lincoln cents before significant changes would alter the series forever. The removal of tin from the alloy in 1962, making them 95% copper, 5% zinc, was the first step in a series of composition changes that would culminate in 1982 with the switch to the modern zinc penny with copper plating. Collectors prize these pre-1982 copper cents not just for their numismatic value but as tangible pieces of American industrial heritage. For collectors seeking these bronze beauties, patience and a trained eye are essential. The most valuable specimens often come from original bank-wrapped rolls that have remained sealed for decades, protecting the coins from oxidation and handling damage. Occasionally, these time capsules surface from old estates or forgotten safety deposit boxes, releasing pristine examples onto the market. Color is the most challenging aspect of Lincoln cent grading. True red designation, abbreviated RD in grading, means the coin must retain at least 95% of its original mint color with no significant fading to brown. Red-brown, RB, coins show between 5% and 95% original color, while brown, BN, specimens have less than 5% red remaining. The price differences between these color designations are dramatic, often 3 to 10 times higher for full red specimens versus brown examples in the same numerical grade. Here's a collector's tip that might help you find a hidden treasure. Many non-specialists don't recognize the value difference between red and brown specimens. It's not uncommon for extraordinary red examples to be mixed in with ordinary brown coins in dealer inventory or estate sales. A trained eye and good lighting can reveal gems hiding in plain sight. The legacy of the 1962 penny extends beyond its physical beauty. For many advanced collectors, it represents the quintessential Lincoln cent, the perfect expression of what a 1-cent coin should be in terms of design execution, metal composition, and aesthetic appeal. When numismatists speak of the good old days of American coinage, the pennies of the early 1960s are often what they're referring to. So next time you're sorting through your change or inherited coin collection, pay special attention to those 1962 pennies. Look for bright copper color, sharp details, and unmarked surfaces. That penny might not have a dramatic error like our 1978 friend, but its quiet perfection could be worth thousands to the right collector. Beauty, as they say, is in the eye of the beholder, and to the trained eye of a numismatist, few sights are more beautiful than a gem 1962 Lincoln cent. Time from the classic bronze beauty of the 1962 penny, we enter the modern era of American coinage with the 2001 Lincoln cent. At first glance, most collectors might dismiss this relatively recent coin. After all, how valuable could a penny be that was minted well within our lifetimes? produced by the billions, and made primarily of zinc instead of copper? The answer might shock you. The 2001 Lincoln cent hides one of the most valuable and intriguing errors in modern American numismatics, the elusive double die obverse. But this isn't just any double die, it's what specialists call the strong double die obverse, and it makes the 1978 error we discussed earlier look subtle by comparison. On these remarkable error coins, Lincoln's profile appears to have an echo, with clear separation visible in the eye, ear, bow tie, and most prominently in the Liberty inscription and date. This double die wasn't discovered until around 2006, when sharp-eyed collectors began noticing these dramatic errors in their change and in bank rolls. By then, most 2001 pennies had already entered circulation, been damaged, or even discarded. Unlike earlier eras when coin collecting was at its peak, the early 2000s were a numismatic low point. Few people were checking their change or saving penny rolls, meaning many of these treasures were lost to time before anyone knew to look for them. The U.S. Mint struck approximately 5.3 billion Lincoln cents in 2001 across both Philadelphia and Denver facilities, but numismatic experts estimate that only between 15,000 to 30,000 examples of this specific double die exist, a tiny fraction that makes this error as rare as some of the most famous coins in American history. What's even more remarkable is that this doubling occurred on modern, high-precision minting equipment that was supposed to eliminate such errors. How did this happen? The answer lies in the multi-step process used to create coin dies. When the master hub impresses the design into a working die, it requires multiple impressions to fully transfer the design. If there's even the slightest movement or misalignment between these impressions, a double die is born. In the case of the 2001 penny, the misalignment was so pronounced that it created one of the most dramatic double dies of the modern era. The market value of these error pennies is nothing short of astonishing. A circulated example, one you might potentially find in your pocket change, can bring $200 to $500. In uncirculated condition, prices start around $1,000 and climb rapidly with quality. The finest examples, graded MS 67 red, have sold for over $10,000 at auction. In 2019, a particularly exceptional specimen graded MS 68 red sold for a staggering $17,625, more than many classic rare coins from the 19th century. What makes this even more extraordinary is that these valuable errors are still in circulation. Unlike vintage rarities locked away in collections for generations, 2001 double die cents can potentially be found in everyday transactions. Think about that, a penny worth thousands of dollars might be sitting in your change jar or passing through your hands in daily commerce. It's the numismatic equivalent of finding a winning lottery ticket on the sidewalk. For those looking to identify this valuable error, the doubling is most prominent in certain areas. Under magnification, examine the word Liberty, where you'll see clear separation in the letters. The date, 2001, shows dramatic doubling, particularly in the zeros. Lincoln's ear and bow tie also exhibit the telltale signs. This isn't subtle doubling that requires expert eyes, it's obvious enough that even novice collectors can spot it with a decent magnifying glass. Condition affects value dramatically with these coins. Since they were minted on zinc planchets with copper plating, the standard composition since 1982, they're particularly susceptible to damage. The thin copper layer can easily be compromised, revealing the unattractive zinc core beneath. Coins with spotting, corrosion, or significant wear might still be valuable for the error, but they command far less than pristine examples with full mint luster. The 2001 double die has another intriguing aspect. It represents one of the last major double die errors likely to be discovered in the Lincoln cent series. In 2010, the U.S. Mint changed the obverse design to the Union Shield reverse, and more importantly, has implemented new digital design minting technologies that make traditional double dies nearly impossible to create. This makes the 2001 error not just valuable today, but potentially more significant historically as minting technology continues to evolve. There's a fascinating social dimension to this coin as well. While most rare coins are discovered and traded within the established numismatic community, the 2001 double die has created numerous overnight collectors, people who had no previous interest in coins until they discovered this valuable error in their possession. Stories abound of individuals finding these pennies in circulation, researching their discovery, and being drawn into the wider world of coin collecting. It's one of the few modern coins with the power to create new collectors through the thrill of discovery. Authentication is critical with these valuable errors, as deceptive counterfeits have appeared on the market. Professional grading services like PCGS and NGC have authenticated thousands of genuine examples, providing both certification and protective holders that preserve the coin's condition. For high-value specimens, this third-party verification is essential, often adding a premium to the coin's market value. The search methodology for finding these needles in the haystack has been refined by dedicated collectors. Focus on 2001 pennies from the Philadelphia Mint, those without a mint mark, particularly from original bank-wrapped rolls if you can find them. Examine each coin under good lighting with at least 5x magnification, focusing on the Liberty inscription and date. The doubling is prominent enough that it can often be seen with the naked eye once you know what to look for, appearing as a shadowy echo of Lincoln's profile. The next time someone tells you to put in your 2 cents, remember that those 2 cents might be worth thousands of dollars if you're lucky enough to have the right pennies. Check your change jars, examine those pennies in your pocket, and who knows, you might discover that the most valuable treasures aren't locked away in bank vaults or museum displays, but hiding in plain sight in the coins we handle every day. Until next time, keep your eyes sharp, your magnifying glass handy, and remember that in the world of numismatics, even the humblest penny can hide remarkable secrets.